And good morning at 7:04 on this Friday, May 20th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. We welcome you on a Friday morning to Coleman and Company, and glad to be here. Glad to have you there. And, of course, we're always happy to be on the air for Wilson Bank and Trust. Well, this morning we've got the CEO with us again, John McDermott. Good morning.
It's like twice in the last month. And it's been good.
We're glad to see you. We're also glad to have Kurt Baker with us this morning. And Kurt, Senior Vice President, Lebanon Market Leader. Good morning.
Good morning.
And playing an active role with the Chamber of Commerce, we might add.
Very active. Yes, sir.
Maybe more active than you'd like. Some days, probably.
What's on your mind this morning, sir?
I'll let Kurt tell us about it. Just with, we talked about 35th anniversary last time I was here, and one of the things that we're doing is trying to, throughout the year, celebrate in different ways. And so a couple of things we've done since I was here last is we did have our Shareholder Picnic, and we had it this year at the Fiddler's Grove. We've done that for a couple of years now. First, because more kind of keep people spread out, which is still important, but also just parking. It gives us more room to kind of have music and things for the kids to do, as well as have the awesome Fiddler's Grove for people to walk and enjoy. And so we had just over 1,100 in attendance, which was pretty amazing. So a great way to celebrate with our shareholders. And then you do know, we also announced a 35-cent dividend as a special dividend as part of the 35th anniversary. So just some neat things going on that we've been trying to celebrate with our shareholders as well as with our customers and our friends.
Well, shareholders do appreciate those dividends, don't they?
Well, and when we think about the bank, we think about our employees, how are we treating and taking care of them. Our customers obviously are the reason we're there, and our shareholders are looking for a great return, and we try to continue to make sure we focus on the value that they're receiving.
Well, Kurt, you want to add to that or tell us more this morning?
Yeah, it's been great. John, I actually got my statement, or I probably got it last week, but I checked the statements for the kids' accounts on the dividends that they received last week, went out there and updated my spreadsheet and just looked at the return that the bank's paid out over the last year on dividends and reinvesting that into stock. And, what a great investment that it is. I mean, there's not a lot out there that's really, as stable and consistent as the bank stock right now. So I appreciate it opening that up.
Well, it has been a great 30 years, and neither one of you have been there all of those 30, but you found a good thing and hung on to it.
We talk about my dad sometimes. So I was at 87, I was a junior in high school, right? So I wasn't really concerned what was going on with the bank at that time. I had other fish to fry, I guess, as they say. But I do remember as I went on to tech, he would always say, hey, let me tell you about what's going on at the new local bank. And so it's been really cool to come full circle and be able to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have something. Good to see some people come together, have an idea, grow, and we've had a number of success stories in Lebanon, but Wilson Bank and Trust is one that ranks right up there with the top, I think. And we could start naming them, but people who've been here a while, they know who we're talking about.
Absolutely, and that's something that we're kind of somewhat here to talk about today is a partnership that we have with the local Habitat for Humanity. Veronica Anderson, that's probably frequents here quite a bit and everything. We're actually doing a bank-sponsored build. It's the first time that we've ever done this, and what that is basically where there's just one sponsor that carries it all 3 weekends of the build. There is a total of, I think, roughly 8 build days, 160 individuals, boots that'll be on the ground, just building one house here in Lebanon. And that's just one of the things that we're doing to celebrate our 35th anniversary to give back to the community.
35 years.
35 years. And really where that, idea was born out of, it's something that, I think John's been here to talk on behalf of 10 community before. All the local banks partnering together during the pandemic to come together for small business. And that's just one thing that we did is got together for a build. All the banks did over a weekend. And we just thought it'd be a really cool idea if we did it on our own here at Wilson Bank and Trust. And to my knowledge, I think we're the only bank in Wilson County that's done a sole build by itself. So it's been fun. John's been a big part of that. I've been a big part of it. Gabby Venata, she's out getting coffee and rounding up snack bars this morning for the crew that's hitting the ground. and Mindy Simmons as well in our marketing department, as well as Lindsay Hammonds at the bank as well. So about a group of 5 of us, and it's been a good experience. We have 160 employees and family members that are coming out over the next month and a half to get this build done for a future homeowner here in Wilson County.
Well, that's great, and it does show you can do something besides just be a banker. You've always done things in the community. I mean, to be an employee doesn't just mean banking hours for most of you. That's what I've noticed. You agree with that?
Oh, totally agree. And during the pandemic, we tried to make sure that we were still inserted, although things were being done differently and maybe a little bit less. But man, let me tell you, it is full bore now, isn't it, Kurt? It's back on, and we're definitely in all of our nonprofits, and we're helping in every way that we can. Grateful for our employees who are so giving.
And back to what you said a minute ago, you said in 1987 you were a junior in high school.
Man, time flies, huh? Let them go Blue Devils, right? Yeah.
Well, I guess that about does it this morning, but it's sure good to have you both here. John McDearman and Kurt Baker and Wilson Bank and Trust, of course, member of DIC, equal housing lender. They're still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. Thanks
right.
a lot.
Yep. Coleman, I always got to do the shameless plug to my children listening at home, Aniston and Colt. Hope you have a good day at school, and I'll see you this evening.
Great. Just proves that Kurt Baker's a good father as well and remembers his children. Thank y'all fellas so much. 10:30 after the hour, and let me introduce my guest this morning in a little bit different way, in the fact that 2 weeks ago, Senator Mark Pogey was going to be here, and I had a little scheduling snafu, and I told him my problem, and so he says, I'll be glad to come another day. And I was not here last Friday. He says, I would really like to come when you're there. So here he is this morning, Senator Mark Pogey.
And good morning, Coleman. What a great day.
It is good to see you, and I know you're busy. I saw you yesterday afternoon.
Yes. So Scott Benson, of course, the superintendent of Lebanon Special School District, is retiring. And so we kind of got to go over to his little retirement party, which is great. And he's an awesome guy. And I think he's done an awesome job with Lebanon Special School District.
Well, you had a proclamation that you read for him and for everybody that was present. And that's something you do quite a bit of course.
Yes. So Clark Boyd and I had both had that resolution drafted for him. And, we're going to wish Scott the best of whatever he's going in the future. And, now we have Brian Hutto. That'll be the new superintendent. So we're looking forward to working with him.
Well, this is sort of supposed to be your wrap up. And I was thinking today what we're going to talk about. When I'm in the shower, that's when some of these things come to mind, time to meditate or think about what the day holds and all of this. And now we've talked an awful lot about the budget, about the session itself, and we can talk as much about that as you want to. But I honestly am more interested in what life is going to be for you, because your district has changed considerably. And although you technically, until I guess November or so, are still have these counties to the east and north and all that you've had in this district, but you got to be thinking about the future. Your geographical area is going to be much smaller, but your constituents are going to be a lot of them are going to be new to you.
That's exactly right. In fact, I have 1/3 of my district is brand new, and that'll be in Davidson County. But Wilson County, as it was before, is actually the bread and butter. It is by far the majority of what I'll be representing. And now that I can just focus on 2 counties, Wilson County and Davidson County, it'll make it easier and easier for me to just say what is most important to Wilson County and what do we have to do for our infrastructure and our growth and things that are happening here. I'm going to miss the rural counties. I'm going to miss, from Macon and Clay and DeKalb, Smith, Cannon, I'm going to miss them all. My wife and I love going to those rural counties, but we're going to focus on what we are in going forward. So that's where we are. And one of them is Davidson County, and I know that they weren't thrilled with the vote that I took on Davidson County, and one of the needs that they had, and that was the Titan Stadium. And they said, hey, no, Senator, you're here to represent us, and we need money for the Titan Stadium. And I voted no. I did not vote for the $500 million bond, and that's $500 million. And I just don't think that was right for Tennessee to be involved in that kind of stadium. I understand the economic development that'll be, but that's just not where we need to be. I would rather getting that money back to taxpayers and let taxpayers support it on their own or whatever they want to do.
Well, I tell you what, with that, let's go ahead and take our break right here, and we've got a lot more to talk about. Senator Mark Pogey, our Friday Senate Report here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. Large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday. Free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're putting out a car fire over here, and traffic easing up a little bit now. It's looking better, actually. 40 east up by Jefferson Street. Got pretty slow at one point. Traffic's picked up now down Ellington Parkway as you work your way from the top down to the bottom. 24 starting to slow down at times westbound as you come up through the Hickory Hollow area. Princess Hot Chicken is now hiring. Check them out online at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When you're Middle Tennessee's community bank, you have a greater responsibility than offering just a menu of financial services. At Wilson Bank and Trust, we make it our mission to know our neighbors, meet their needs, and invest in the communities we serve. Whether we are working with our students to build their youth savings or partnering with a local business owner to fulfill their dreams, our goal is always to make our communities even stronger. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of the fabric of Wilson County for more than 30 years and always supporting us in our efforts to serve you, give back, and grow. Member FDIC.
Coleman and Company here on this Friday morning. Our final Friday Senate Report, Senator Mark Pogey for right now. We'll get you back in January, of course, and might have you a time or two in between, especially if there's something comes up that we need to discuss. But just take 2 or 3 minutes here as we think about the session that's just ended, and what kind of grade maybe would you give the legislature on what it did since January and the second session of this?
Yep. So I think I would grade it a B.
A B.
A B. I think we did a good job. I think we could have done better. One of the concerns, we've had was the budget. We had a $10 billion increase in the budget, and that was not a bad thing because we had $5 billion that came in from the federal government, and we had another $5 billion that came in from sales tax growth. So that's good that it came in. It's what we did with that extra $10 billion. I would have rather given a lot more of that money back to taxpayers or put even more money into one-time expenditures and such. We did part of that. As an example, this year we put in another $500 million into our rainy day fund, and that brings us up to $1.8 billion, the highest it's ever been, and I'm so thrilled with that. We did something else that I was really, really happy with, and that is we left $1.3 billion in I'm just going to say it's a checking account. So there's cash that we get, that we have coming in, and we did not allocate that money. It is in there for emergency. So if it was a family budget, so we put in $500 million into our savings account, and we left $1.3 billion in our checking account, which is great. I like that kind of opportunity coming in going forward. We believe interest rates are going to be a little bit higher and so forth. We did well, but we could have done more. We have given back, for example, $80 million in grocery tax, and that's going to happen in August. We did do $121 million for license plates, and that's going to be a one-time, this whole year, starting in July. You won't have to pay for your tags for the state part of it. You have to pay for your locals and anything like that, but you won't have to pay the state part of it. And that's going to go directly back to Tennesseans. I'd love that kind of savings, giving it back to Tennesseans. We did another $9 million back to remove something called the professional privilege tax. We had 20-some professions that had to pay it, and we're getting rid of more and more of them, and we got rid of the doctors one this year. We still have like a half dozen left, and we're going to continue to try and get rid of those. We did $68 million to reduce tax on broadband, and I like, and so if you buy equipment for broadband to install it and such, you don't have to pay the sales tax on that. We also reduced sales tax on agricultural equipment for our farmers. So we put them more in par in line that if it's like you're a business, you buy some equipment to improve your business and production, you get some, you don't have to pay the sales tax on it. Same thing with farmers. So we did some of that to give it better parity. And agriculture is our #1 industry. So I'm glad we did some of those things. I wish we could have done more on that line. But overall, I think we did well. We didn't pass any really, really silly bills. I did vote against one that passed, and it was the homeless bill. And, we made it illegal for if somebody's homeless to be and sleep on public property. Well, that means if they're homeless and they can't be on public property, they can only be on private property. And then I think, that I voted against that one as well. We've got to do something to help the homeless and find out alternatives for them rather than just saying it's illegal to sleep somewhere. We got to find a better way to address it rather than making him a criminal. So that was some of the good things and bad things.
All right. I don't know whether you want to talk about this on the air or not, but it was pointed out by MJ this morning that your appearance has changed just a little bit in that.
Oh, Coleman, yes. And so I've got to tell you, we celebrate. I got a wonderful wife. We celebrated 49 years of marriage this week. And I've had a mustache for the vast, vast majority of my life. In fact, for the last 35 years, I've had a mustache. And she was talking a couple of weeks ago saying, Mark, I wonder what it'd be like without your mustache. So for my anniversary present to my wife, I went ahead and shaved my mustache. So, and she tells me she's thrilled with it. And if my wife is thrilled with it, that's going to stay right off. So that's all I need to know.
Are you thrilled with it?
It means I got to shave a little extra every morning, but that's okay. Whatever we got to do to make our wives happy, I'm all for it.
All right. Legislature's been closed out. It's been, I guess it's been a month, but it's been 2 or 3 weeks. And what's life been like when the session ended, and as you plan your summer and the rest of until you meet again in January? What's life like?
Sure. So one thing we're planning is we've got Pastor David Barton, and he's with something called Wall Builders. And last year, every year I try and have kind of a conservative group that comes in. And last year we had Eric Trump that came in. I've had Oliver North come in. This year it's going to be David Barton, and he kind of is going to go through, and we've rented out the Expo Center, and which is an awesome place, and they're going to be here on July 9th, and it's going to be an opportunity for people to hear, hey, how did Christianity and our country found? What was the founding? People say, well, we were founded as a Christian nation, and he goes through step by step to show that and show what we have in our founding documents and what our founders had said and how that fits in the Bible and so forth. So it's a really great opportunity to hear him. For more information, just contact my office or whatever. But it's going to be July 9th. It should be a really, really good event.
The tickets are required. There's a charge for this.
Yes. And so there are different tickets, and they're different online. We got great sponsors this year again, and so they're helping. Every time a sponsor steps up to do that, it helps. Like we got Ed's Plumbing, and I know he advertises here on this. Yep. And so they've been really good. We got one of the trucking companies, the Denny's. They've been very helpful in supporting this as well. So it's really good to have good sponsors to come. DT McCall's have been a good sponsor. And Rackley Roofing has helped in the past. They've been a really, really good sponsor as well. So a lot of different people, different organizations have helped just to kind of say, hey, constitutionally, where are we standing? And, for more information, just contact my office, and I'd love to get in contact with you. Or go to my website, markpody.com.
Well, of course, we've got an election coming up in November. Now, for those who don't have opposition, and I think that includes you,
yes,
that makes you happy, of course.
It does, and I'm honored. But you know what? I'm just going to give all that glory to my Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm going to thank all the citizens and constituents in the 17th District. And I know not everybody agrees with me. In fact, when Scott Benson, when I was giving the proclamation, he and I talked, and he said, I don't always agree with how Mark votes, but I'm always going to be listening to absolutely everybody. I want to listen with open ears and an open mind to say, hey, I don't have every single answer, and I want that input from constituents. I want to hear what's going on. And there's times that, Coleman, I got to tell you, I wish I would have voted something a different way from time to time after you say, I got more information, and that was not the best vote for me to make.
But the transition, though, that you're going to be making, and you're already thinking in those terms, and you You know there's going to be some demands, most likely made of you, of some of the people in Davidson County that don't probably fit your idea of how government is supposed to operate. Your idea seems to be more of less government.
Yes.
And that is a Democrat stronghold. Davidson County
Yep.
always has been, to my memory.
Yes.
So this is maybe some uncharted waters for you in a way.
It is, and that is something that when we had the Titans vote, that was a very strong argument. They said, you're representing Davidson County now, and in order to represent Davidson County, and I said, here's who I am. I am a very limited government type person. I believe in low taxes. I believe in less regulation. Let businesses, and this is a private business, the Titans, let them develop it. Let us keep our hands off of it. And that's who I am. And I'm going to continue to fight for individual rights. And I'm going to continue to fight to keep government away from people. And they're not here to answer every question and solve every problem. If government gets to a size where it can solve every problem, it can take every right away from you. And I'm going to fight for our individual rights based on even the federal government. I don't want them touching into Tennessee, and I want to keep Tennessee stopping us from working on the locals, and I'm going to just kind of keep government in its role.
Well, this may not be directly involving you, but the Davidson County has been divided into. They're going to have 3 different people representing them in Congress. There's going to be 3 congressmen who have a portion of Davidson County, where, as far back as I can remember, there's always just been one. And it's been a Democrat stronghold. We'd already said this may change a bit. What's the political landscape going to look like? Is there going to be a big change here?
Well, it's interesting because the 5th district has actually splitting, Wilson County as well. So a lot of us will be going for the new congressional districts, as part of us will be with John Rose yet. And so that split not only hit Davidson County, but it hit Wilson County as well. And on July 9th at the Expo Center, I'm going to be having all the new congressional candidates come in to have a kind of a talk a little bit as well and tell us where they stand. And that'll be a good time for Wilson County to hear them. And it'll be the last weekend before early voting. So it'd be a good time for the candidates to come out and say, hey, here's what I believe in, and here's why you should vote for me on the Republican ticket. But I think Davidson County, they are so broke. They just don't have any money. They're continuing to raise their property taxes, and I don't understand how they can continue to try and go in debt to build the things that they have when they haven't even paid off everything. Just like the Titan Stadium is not paid off yet, and they want to build a new one. That just doesn't make economic sense for me.
Is there going to be a big fight here, really?
I don't think so. I think that especially this year, people are hurting. Our 401ks are down so much this year alone. And, there's been a lot of missteps made by the federal government. And I think a lot of people are a little bit frustrated with the leadership in the federal government right now. And I think in Tennessee, it's going to be a pretty big Republican sweep at this point coming into the midterm election. So I think that there's not going to be a big fight. I think that it's going to be surprisingly a lot more people on the Republican ticket again this year.
People of Davidson County are going to have to make some adjustments, maybe in the future, not as dependent on government maybe as some of them have been in the past.
I hope so. I really hope that they will turn around and say, we got to let businesses be the ones that are going to drive this income coming in, and not just continue to tax the homeowners and so forth. They did a 30-some% tax increase on their property taxes, and they're still broke. They're still in debt. In fact, if we take all of what Tennessee owes as a state, what our state owes, and we compare it to Davidson County alone, Davidson County owes twice as much money as the entire state debt of Tennessee. That's horrible. That is not something to be proud of. So I think that they need to get their fiscally house in order. And I'm going to be there to help them do it. And I'll be the one saying that this is time to get it in order.
How can they? That's a monumental task. They've gotten themselves dug such a deep hole in the ground financially.
And as we watch interest rates go up, they've got to make more and more money payments to their debt rather than helping their constituents going forward. But as Tennessee, Coleman, we've got some of the best numbers in the entire country. We are the lowest debt state per capita. In fact, if we look at it, we owe less than $1,000 per person in the entire state of Tennessee to cover our state debt, where other states are like $20,000 per person. You know, I mean, we are absolutely incredibly done. Our pension program, we're in the top 5 in the entire nation on how well we've done our pensions. The amount that we tax per capital and per person is one of the lowest in the whole nation as well. You know, we might have a high sales tax, but we don't have many other taxes to go with it. That is just the sales tax, and that's it. We don't have the income tax. We don't have so many other taxes that other states have. So we're one of the very lowest and one of the best tax states in the nation.
You attribute that to good management and the fact that we haven't gone into debt to do some of these things. We've kind of paid as we go.
Absolutely. And here, you know, we got potholes in our roads. We got to continue to fix them, but we're paying cash to do it. We're not borrowing it from our kids to fix our potholes today. We are paying cash. We've allocated another $619 million to go into the transportation so we can get some of these projects fixed and done. So we're doing it right. We're putting it in, and we're paying cash as we go. And that's who I am. That's the kind of government I want to be, that we pay cash. We give the taxpayers back the money when we have excess money, and we don't just find new programs and new ways to spend the money.
We are out of time. Can you believe it?
Coleman, I've enjoyed this so much, and I know that people, they say they see me. I see you out all the time as well. You are very, very active in the community. And when I walked in, though, I got to tell you, Susie has just changed this whole radio station. New carpet, new desks, new everything, new kitchen. You guys are really going upscale here.
We're not through yet.
Not through yet. All right.
When you come back again, you're going to see some more new things.
All right. All right.
But I don't know when that will be. But thanks for being with us all these Fridays. We appreciate having you, and it's just always good to have you, and we appreciate you being here today.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right, that's our Friday Senate Report in Part 1 of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:30. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford. And get a battery installed on most vehicles, $134.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning, everybody. Staring at this truck out here on 40 eastbound just before 2nd and 4th. It's picking up out here in the normal spots, if you want to call it that, on Vietnam Vets coming through Hendersonville. Looks good right now in from the Jolton area. Keeping an eye on that 24 east up there. Try and get past Whites Creek Pike, again in the Jolton area. Looks pretty good. Hey, Gatlinburg Wine Cellar. It's home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Check them out in person in downtown Gatlinburg with 2 locations on the Parkway, or order online at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
It's summertime, summertime.
The sun is shining, flowers are blooming, and it's time to get your backyard ready for all that summertime fun.
Well, if you want a bigger backyard, or maybe you don't want to mow anymore, let us help you find the home that fits your needs.
Houses are flying off the market so quickly, you really need to get a real estate agent to help you to find that dream home.
That's why you don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmenthaler at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team, 443-3130.
Hot and sunny for your Friday. Highs expected to top out at 90 degrees today, cooling to the 70s overnight. This weekend is shaping up to be a mixed bag. Storm chances increase as we head into Saturday night.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number 1 Ned.
Coleman.
Coleman and Company here on a Friday morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Part 2. And we've got the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty all here set to go. They're located at 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Great people, great service. Somebody answers the phone 24 hours a day. They're people you can trust. Miss Judy, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Coleman. You
And
keep us happy.
Medina?
Good morning, Coleman.
I love it. You make us laugh.
Well, I was reaching for something, and the on-the-air light doesn't come on right now. It's taking a hiatus or whatever, and I have to watch for MJ's signal, and I had her back to her, and it was time to start talking. It's the way it goes, you know?
I love it.
Well, We love having you here each Friday. And of course, Friday, we're looking forward to the weekend. Realtors' weekends sometimes are a little bit different from other people's, I guess. but
Ours
you're
is
on
already
call.
packed for the weekend.
It's the same as the week.
You're on call
Yeah.
24/7. Oh, but get us started this morning.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about when people get their house for sale and an agent comes and they write an offer up and then they go back and forth and everybody agrees and that offer becomes a contract. So everybody has signed and sellers get so excited and then they go out here and tell everybody, I got a contract on my house, got a contract on my house. Well, sometimes it's better to kind of lay low on that because it's not over till it's over. And
Where have I heard that before?
That's right. And agents get a little too excited and they'll go stick a pendant on the sign. Well, if other buyers are driving by, they go, oh, I really wanted to look at that house and it's gone. Well, because when you see the pendant on there, you assume it's taken and it's gone, and it's over. Well, all things can happen all the way through the day of closing on a contract. And most contracts, if agents will go and look and talk to the other agent, they're contingent on financing, inspection. They can be contingent on lots of things, another house selling or whatever. Mm-hmm. And even all the way through, the contract has all kinds of deadlines on it. And if one of those deadlines fail to be met, that contract becomes null and void right then. So a lot of times sellers, other agents are just waiting for that contract timeline to be missed so they can swoop in and get another contract on it. So a lot of agents are not aware of that, and sometimes they fool around and miss their deadlines. So as agents, we have to be watching. There's probably 20 deadlines on that contract that you have to be watching. And if you've got several contracts going on, it's not like you just put that one on the side, that one's gone, I don't have to worry about it. And things can fall through. I mean, we've had one fell through the day before closing, the guy lost his job. And it was contingent on financing. Everything had been met. And, if it's contingent on financing and you lose your job, you're not closing that house. And, of course, he could get another job, but it would be weeks before that financing could go through again. Mm-hmm. And the sellers have the right at that point to say, I'm not waiting for him to clear his financing again. I'm selling it to the next person. So as agents, we need to be having backup offers and second backup offers ready in the wings in case that falls through with something. So be careful when you see pending signs and you're looking for a house, don't give up on it. Talk to the agent, your agent, or call us and say, what's the deal on that? What are the contingencies? And you can be a backup offer and be waiting to see if that really closes or not. Because the day before closing, that actually fell through. The guy calls us and says, I've lost my job.
That's probably something a lot of people aren't aware of, don't think about.
They're not. They're looking for homes and they go, well, I can't look at that one, it's pending. And I'm like, well, do you know why it's pending? Have they got to sell another house? Well, if they haven't sold their house, you can go in there and make another offer because that's contingent on them selling their house. So if you haven't got a house to sell, let's go in there and make another offer on it. They might, and then they have to force the other people to either take that sale of contingency off or either take the next offer. So when there's contingencies on there, and a lot of times people, they've met all the contingencies on the contract, and then they find out when the title search comes back, they're sharing a driveway with somebody, or their shed is over on their property, and the buyer goes, I'm not buying it with a shared driveway. So they back out. And here the house sits, and they got to start all over. So then that other buyer didn't know that, and they could have been in the wings waiting for it. So when you see pending or under contract, don't give up. Always go and find out. Do your homework on that to find out what's happening. Because until the seller walks out of there with that check in their hand, that house is not sold and it's not closed. And most of the time, from the time the contract is signed, it's usually at least 30 days. And even on cash deals, you're 7 or 8 days out because they have to do a title search and do the deed and do the paperwork on it. So nothing closes. You get a contract closed the next day. I mean, something usually is not right with that.
Oh, I take it in all your years of real estate experience, you probably had all these things happen once or twice.
Yeah. And we've had people to, die the day before closing. And we had one, the Valentine's tornado in Murfreesboro. We had a house, we were going to the closing the next day, and the tornado blew the house off the foundation. And I had buyers and sellers both, and the sellers were in Florida on vacation, and their house blew away. Wow. And I had to go meet the buyers on the interstate from Memphis to tell them that the house they were coming to move into with their moving van was gone. And so, you know, you have all kinds of experiences. Oh. And they had not closed on it. They were closing the next day. So we had to find accommodations for them for 6 months for the sellers to rebuild the house. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen with this. So you never count it sold until that check is in your hand. And another thing, do not cancel your homeowner's insurance when you get a contract. Don't cancel it till you got the check in your hand, because that house still belongs to you until the day you sign the papers over.
All right. So you've made your point well.
I'm going to give it over to
Medina, you got anything this morning?
Just one little listing. For all those buyers out there that's looking for a house, we have one right in the Sam Houston School District. It's 1109 Edge Hill Drive. It is 3 beds, 1 full bath, 1,428 square feet, 1 owner home. And it's a solid built home. And it has your hardwood floors, your carpet. It has the wood paneling. It is nicely decorated. It is a solid built house. They don't build them like those anymore.
Okay.
Now, the unique thing about this house, it has a 3-car detached garage. Very nice. And it's a true 3-car detached garage. And in this garage, up above the garage, is a full length of the garage floored attic.
Oh.
Now, in the house as well, the length of the house is a floored attic. So the house has been very well taken care of. Like I said, 1 owner. And so it's listed for $329,900. So if anybody is looking to be in the Sam Houston School District, it's walking distance to Sam Houston. Give us a call and we'll be glad to show it to you.
All right. Well, hope y'all have a great weekend. Remind everybody again, 1330 West Main's the location. 615-443-3130 is that number. But most people probably call you cell phone.
Yes, but they can call the office too, because always somebody answers the phone.
And always, as we close, Medina has this reminder.
Remember, don't make a move without us.
All right. Y'all have a great weekend. See you next Friday.
See you next Friday.
C&D team, exit Rocky Top Realty. We're about 19 minutes before the hour. And Gail Hibbert joins us this morning to talk about the Farm Bureau Expo Center and all she's doing out there. And good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I am doing great. We're at the end of a week, and I would like to say, and so the activities begin, but they actually haven't stopped all week. So we're just continuing on.
Well, there's only one of you, to do what you do.
Right.
And we've been hearing a lot of good things about what you are doing, and it seems that more and more people are wanting to have an event at the Farm Bureau Expo Center, and I guess the popularity makes your job a little bit easier, but it also brings some more problems with scheduling and all of this, I guess. So tell us about it.
Juggling that schedule it's a mixed bag of blessings. It's challenging to say the very least, but it's also very rewarding to see that the efforts that we're making to get the message out there and to take care of the people that we have is working. It's definitely working. We're also reaching out, though, trying to extend our reach. I don't think we saturated the market locally or immediate region completely, but we have a strong foothold in that. And so we are also looking beyond that for some larger events coming in. And so that requires a lot of face-to-face and business-to-business type environments, planning meetings and so forth. So that's definitely on the docket for going forward, is emphasizing that and trying to bring in some outside events coming in from outer regions.
Gail, what's the biggest selling point for the Expo Center and what you do there in booking that? There's probably a number of things you could point to, but there are 2 or 3 that really stand out that people really grasp onto and want to come because of those?
I wouldn't say there's one. I'd say there's three. The first thing I would say from an inside perspective is the way we take care of our people. When you come in to have an event, we do everything we can to make sure that event is as successful as it can possibly be. And we make sure that we have as much as what is within our power to have that set up before you ever get there. That takes a big load off an event planner. They really appreciate that. The second is probably the value for the area that you're going to be using. Is the value compared to a tier 1 city, which would be like Nashville, is incredible. When people's jaws drop open when you tell them what it costs to rent the entire building, that's a very good indicator that we're a pretty good value, because they're like, okay, we'll take it. They don't even hesitate. They're like, okay, yes, absolutely. And the third one would be the adaptability of the space. We really can be whatever you want us to be, whatever you need us to be. The space was uniquely designed to be flexible. If you need it to be a trade show and you need to build that out, you can. If right now we've got the Tennessee Outdoor Rendezvous moving in. Literally hours prior to that, we had TAUD in there that had more of a conference style. And so flipping those rooms to be something completely different is what I think is fascinating to see, because everybody has a different vision, everybody has a different event, and our job is just to make it as successful as it can be.
Well, how do you market yourself? I mean, your visibility. How are you getting the exposure that you need to do what you're doing?
We're doing a little.
Well, hopefully, coming here helps.
Yes, that's always great. That's always great. And we'll actually be coming here more. That's on the plan. So we're excited about that, and that helps us reach, obviously, a defined demographic, and we understand that. And so diversifying how we reach out to those demographic areas, who do we want to talk to? So we really have two markets. We have those that want to attend events, and then we have those that want to plan events. And so that becomes, you want to approach that two different ways. And really the fundamental job of getting people to the events is the responsibility of the event planner. Ultimately, that's it. We try to help. I've got a whole list here of events that I could talk about. We do try to help where we can, but that's not our primary function. Their function, the event planner's function, is to promote their event. So we're diversifying just a little bit, and it goes back to that business-to-business conversation. Going to these meeting planner events, establishing ourselves as a recognized venue that's an option for you and for your event. We are not the answer for every event. If I could double the size of the expo, well, that would just open up a whole nother market for me. So understanding what our market is and knowing who we need to talk to is really key.
All right, Gail Hibbert is with us. It's time for us to take a break, and we'll talk more in a moment on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:46, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. Large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday. Free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's busy out here. The normal spots, 40 west coming past Spence Lane, 65, a little bit sluggish southbound there at Trinity Lane, 24 eastbound at Shelby. They're trying to move a wreck over to the side right now. 65 south near OHB in Brentwood. That was also a crash that TDOT just rolled up behind. Hey, Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, home of the world famous cotton candy wine. Check them out at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway, across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman & Company, it's a Friday, and we have Gail Hibbert here with the Farm Bureau Expo Center, which she is in charge of and is marketing, and here to talk about that. We talked about the how you go about this, and you're not there for it's not everybody doesn't need that, but a lot of people do, and you are. I understand most of your weekends are taken up into maybe the next 2 or 3 years or something.
That would be correct, yes. So, for example, the main exhibit hall Monday or January through May is booked for the next 4 years. So, it's but you can't not recruit events because you never know, things change. I mean, so that's the dynamics that we deal with.
Sort of like selling a home, maybe.
Exactly. You never know till you're actually there. Things do change. The pandemic took a toll on some of the smaller events, not being able to have an event for a couple of years based on whatever their event was. That hurt them. Some survived, some did not. Some were able to have their events. And what I found was that largely depended on if they were a corporate-driven event or if they were an independent-driven event. On the corporate side, of course, that board of directors had a responsibility to protect the staff and so forth. So they're gonna err on the side of caution for sure. But at independent events, they were more willing to come to the table to figure out how they could do it safely and still have it. So they were willing to do less, but still have the event. And that is, I believe, in my personal opinion, that is one of the reasons why they survived.
Let me throw something out here, and we've heard some talk about this, and I don't think you and I may have talked a little bit about this, but there's been people who are saying it would be so nice and would help the booking. It would make it even more popular place if we could have a hotel either on the premises or nearby. What about that?
You're speaking my language. I have been saying that since I started, and it's not that I'm not wrong. It's fundamentally a fact. I just got back from Branson from a conference. I met with 32 planners. Myself and Philip joined Jason Johnson and Whitney from the CVB. The number one thing we heard from everybody that we met with, that was 32 planners, was, you don't have accommodations on the grounds?
Yeah.
It hurts us. It really hurts us. And it would be amazing to have a hotel on the grounds, adjacent walking distance to us, to support the events that we have, as well as the community as a whole. I mean, so it's not just, the expo runs as a business because it's been charged to make money because there's bonds out there that were taken out to build it. But at the same time, we still belong to the community. So, our job is to make sure the community has a reason to come there, and event planners have what they need to come there. And what the event planners are telling us is that not having accommodations on the grounds is the number one reason why they won't come.
All right. It's got to start somewhere, but I mean, the county could get involved if they saw fit to do so. But someone who has an eye for investments and making money might, surely somebody has thought of this and has entertained the idea, even though they haven't come forth with plans yet. But do you think that's in the works somewhere, or?
Conversations have been had.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Conversations have been had. Where we are at with that at the moment, time will tell. Time will tell. That's not an easy train to push down the track. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces, and there's additional infrastructure that needs to be right there by us, in front of us, because you can't just have the hotel. You've got to have some resources that support the fact that somebody might be staying in a hotel. They might want to just be able to go, just a hop, skip, and a jump down the street to get something to eat. So it's change, I think, is coming. It's just, how does it play out, and what's the timing look like? We've had conversations with, the city. We've talked with, obviously, our mayor. I've talked with local hoteliers. We'll see how that plays out. But I know conversations have been had.
But to say that, but here again, I mean, that you just been to this conference, and that was the big thing and the surprise that you don't have one, from what you said.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. They're used to that. Now, what's interesting is that event planners are making a shift. It's a paradigm shift. Instead of wanting to come into a tier 1 city, immerse into, go to the hotel, stay at the hotel, have the conference at the hotel, and then just go out and visit the city if you have time. They're not looking for that anymore. They're looking for more experience-based events. So have your conference, but on this break that we're going to have, we're going to go to a Century Farm and take a tour and learn what that's like. Or we're going to go to Fiddler's Grove, and we want to have a prearranged tour and some makers that are out there. They don't have to stay in Wilson County. They can go to Arrington Vineyards. They could take a train and go down to downtown Nashville. So they're looking for those opportunities to explore the local area and do different things. And the conference that we went to was exactly that. When we had a break, they took us to what they called Top of the Rock in Branson, probably the most spectacular place I've ever seen. It was just phenomenal. But see, I remember Branson because of that, and that's kind of the key of why they do that. So that helps Branson when Branson's marketing to have events in Branson.
You went to do that instead of going to hear one of the singers.
Well, some of them want that too. A trip to Bluebird Cafe never hurts, but pre-planning is everything when it comes to, if you want an experience-based event, you need to plan ahead. And that's where Jason and I work hand in hand in supporting the events that come through. I've got a big event that I'm talking to. We're talking about 6,000 people. We're talking about 400 room nights. First thing I did was get a hold of Jason. How far in advance do you need to know before you can get them room blocks for 400 rooms? And again, it's teamwork. It's working with the CVB, working with the chambers, working with the Ag Center, just trying to make sure that we can give them everything we need to give them to make their event successful.
But when you have an event here, people come. They're not only spending money securing the expo center, but they're spending money here otherwise for most of them, I would think.
That's right. So we aren't having to build a house for them while they're here. We're not having to spend money on them while they're here, but they're here spending money in our county. And if you look at the hotel motel tax that has come in the first, 4 months of the year, it is astronomical compared to the entire year last year.
Really?
So you want those people to come into the county because they're going to come drop their money and leave. And so that's good for us because, again, we're not building infrastructures to support them long term. They're here spending their money and enjoying the event. And nothing makes me happier than when somebody calls me and says, I was just at your facility at an event. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Thank you for having that event. Or the relationships that you develop with event planners. I just got invited to somebody's wedding because I made an impression on them. And I was like, touched. And it was like, well, of course I'll come, So it's a wonderful opportunity. Wonderful opportunity.
You want to talk about anything that's coming here? I know you've got a list here, and we've got about 3 minutes.
I have a list. And so right now, even as we're talking, Tennessee Outdoor Rendezvous it's a deer and hunting expo. I'm a Bambi fan, so I struggle with this, but the guys are great, and they put on a great show. They will be here all weekend. And so definitely come out and check them out. It is a truly great show. They're in their second year, and last year was incredible, so I know this year is going to be even better. We have, for those that are of the MMA interest, we have an MMA fight coming again on July 2nd, and it will be live streamed as well as live in the expo, and we're very excited about that. Something that might surprise some people, we have roller derby coming.
Oh.
We have a roller derby scrimmage coming. And I'm super excited about this. They're coming twice, July 17th and October 1st. And they'll be in the main exhibit hall, and you'll be able to watch them actually scrimmage and do what they do. It's phenomenal watching them practice. They've been practicing in there for several months now. A kayak con, kind of a cosplay, that's a different market, but they come out in droves, and they're super excited to be back. They were not able to be with us last year because of COVID, so they're excited to be back. Of course, gun shows are always a favorite. The season is upon us, and they will be back on the end of July as well. So for those that want to shop, Mistletoe Merchants is coming back in September and December. And then we have a sewing show and a quilting show later this year in September and October. So those are some of the highlights of what we got coming up.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and you're in our last minute. If somebody has questions, I guess you're available to, again, as you said earlier, the Expo Center is not for everybody, but you do adapt to help people where possible, and you don't know until you explore an idea.
That's right. Well, the only way you can know if we're a good fit or not is to call and ask questions. And you are welcome to call the Expo at any point in time, and it's 615-450-3049. Or you can check out the website, which is farmbureauexpo.com. Pretty much every resource that you need is on the website, but sometimes just talking to a person makes all the difference in the world.
FarmBureauExpoCenter.com.
No, FarmBureauExpo.com.
Oh, FarmBureauExpo.com.
Yep, that's correct.
Short.
That's correct.
Excuse me. Well, Gail, thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next time, and have a nice weekend, and we enjoyed having you.
You too, Coleman. Thank you.
That's it for Friday. Have a nice weekend. Until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.